Welcome to this vlog where we will be assessing skill and capacity issues within speed and agility. Our first athlete, Dan, struggles with maintaining a low body height during the 10-metre acceleration. This indicates a skill issue. Dan is an elite runner with excellent technique in running. Since he's midway through his cross-country season, his training focuses on volume, meaning acceleration isn't a key focus for him.
However, improving his acceleration technique will enhance his athletic performance come race day.
Dan completes his 10-metre sprint in 1.9 seconds. Looking at his movement, his first step is good, showing a good acceleration position with a forward lean. However, his subsequent steps shows he gradually becomes more upright, leading to a vertical displacement rather than horizontal projection. This is an example of falling into an attractive state, whereby upright running is his habitual movement pattern seen in cross-country running. To improve, Dan needs to maintain a forward trunk lean, which would reduce braking forces and lightly increase sprint speed. To teach proper acceleration, we use sprinter switches with a barbell, encouraging a forward trunk lean of about 45 degrees. Initially, Dan immediately reverts to an upright posture, as seen by the white line versus the green target line. After I cue Dan to bring his chest closer to the bar, it improves his body angle, but we notice spinal flexion, a potential injury risk in explosive movements, such as sprinting. We move on to adding a resistance band around Dan's foot and the bar, which provides instant feedback on knee drive. As you can see in his first rep, his foot moves horizontally and finds it fairly awkward. After correcting his body position, he drives his knee in the correct plane while maintaining a better body angle, but spinal rounding still remains. Next, we use banded sprints to reinforce horizontal projection and forward lean. Initially, Dan's knee drive is too vertical, contributing to his early upright posture during his 10-metre sprints. After coaching, he adjusts to a more horizontal knee drive, improving his
Acceleration mechanics.
After training, Dan completes a 10-metre sprint in 1.82 seconds, which is an improvement. He is able to maintain a more consistent trunk angle throughout the sprint. However, there is increased spinal flexion, suggesting a capacity limitation in trunk strength or mobility. The comparison shows Dan is able to accelerate with a more trunk lean in a more advantageous acceleration position to facilitate horizontal projection. Dan's improvement came from technical adjustments. However, by altering his technique, he displays other capacity issues. Progression must be done slowly to reinforce proper techniques.
The next athlete is Mattis, and he displays a capacity issue during acceleration, specifically limited hip mobility and glute stability. He is a semi-pro football player, and while his movement quality is decent, as seen in the warm-up, he lacks understanding of some warm-up drills which may impact his performance during the 10-metre sprint. Mattis completes his 10-metre sprint in 1.8 seconds. His technique favours short, sharp steps, likely due to limited hip mobility. This restriction may cause reciprocal inhibition of the glutes, limiting hip extension as well, shown by the inability to reach triple extension in the rear leg. Upon testing hip mobility, Mattis has limited hip range, reaching only 90 degrees in both legs. There is also a shift towards the right when balancing on his left leg, further highlighting glute inhibition due to restricted hip mobility. To improve range and function of the glutes and hips, we use banded hip distractions to increase hip mobility, glute activation work to reduce hip flexor co-contraction. This enhances hip flexor range, specifically improving thigh separation, a key factor in acceleration. After the mobility and activation work, Mattis gains more hip range and his glutes and hips function better as an antagonistic pair, reducing his previous imbalance.
Sprinter switches were utilised to reinforce thigh separation, utilising the newfound hip mobility in that 45-degree body angle.
After the sprinter switches, we used banded acceleration drills to reinforce the thigh separation mechanics at the desired trunk angle. And finally, we broke down Mattis's initial push-off, emphasising a strong first step with large hip displacement and triple extension through the back leg. Upon retesting, Mattis improves his 10-metre sprint time to 1.72 seconds. This marked improvement is solely due to increased thigh separation from better hip mobility. Comparing the pre and the post tests, it shows there is more hip displacement per step. By improving hip mobility and glute function, Mattis now moves more efficiently and accelerates faster.
Mattis also displays a skill issue during the 505 agility test, specifically in trunk and hip orientation during turns. Mattis completes the 505 agility test on his right leg in 2.73 seconds. He loses time due to the inefficient trunk and hip orientation strategies. He is able to drop his body height well before the 180-degree turn. However, he fails to orientate his trunk early, thus delaying the turn. This also means that he exits the turn with a backward lean due to failing to orientate the centre of mass in the desired direction of travel. He also loses time by rotating his hips during the turn and not during the crossover step, therefore delaying the re-acceleration phase. Left leg, Mattis performs slightly better, completing the turn in 2.54 seconds. He uses the same strategy as the right leg, but shows more effort to orientate his torso early. This suggests he is more comfortable on the left leg. However, he still loses time by orientating his hips too early, just before the crossover step. To improve trunk positioning, we used a lateral shuffle drill to help Mattis understand how to align his trunk in the direction of travel before the turn. To teach correct hip rotation timing, we introduced a half-kneeling 180-degree turn, forcing Mattis to rotate his hips properly during the crossover step rather than before the turn. The drill emphasizes aligning the hips with the new direction of travel. After the training intervention, Mattis improves his 505 agility test times on both legs to 2.45 seconds on the right leg and 2.38 seconds on the left leg. He shows better trunk orientation before the turn and a smoother, more efficient movement during the crossover step to align the hips in the desired direction of travel. A pre and post comparison clearly shows drastic improvements in trunk lean during both turns, better centre of mass positioning shifting towards a desired direction of travel instead of leaning backwards as seen in the pre-test. Mattis's agility improved significantly by refining trunk and hip orientation. This highlights the importance of teaching athletes proper motor programs to complete common movement patterns witnessed during sport, as small changes can lead to big gains. Owen lacks force production and stiffness in his left leg, indicating a capacity issue. Owen completes the 505 agility test on his right leg in 2.54 seconds. He demonstrates good skill execution by dropping body height before the turn. He orientates his body efficiently towards the new direction and re-accelerates quickly. Owen completes the 505 agility test on his left leg in 2.74 seconds, showing clear limitations in force production. He attempts the same strategy as on his right leg, and is able to maintain a low body position and shift his centre of mass correctly before the turn. However, he struggles to absorb deceleration forces upon planting his left leg, requiring an extra step to stabilise. To resolve this issue, overcoming isometrics used to enhance short-term force production by increasing motor unit activation through post-tectonic potentiation. This improves neuromuscular efficiency, making the muscles more responsive under load. We also use eccentric posterior chain work to help the muscles absorb and control high braking forces, reducing instability during decelerations, as well as plyometrics to focus on improving rate of force development, as well as a lateral shuffle drill that reinforces deceleration and re-acceleration mechanics while maintaining stiffness in the plant leg. Owen improves his left leg 505 time to 2.63 seconds, and there was no meaningful change in his right leg. The short-term improvements are likely due to the post-tectonic potentiations, as more motor units were recruited, leading to better force production, thus enhancing his ability to handle deceleration demands and transition to re-acceleration. However, the long-term improvements require consistent training, as one session won't permanently resolve these issues. Looking at the right leg comparison, minimal differences between the pre and post tests. However, there was a slight improvement in trunk orientation during the post-test, leading to a larger first step out of the turn. There is a marked improvement in the left leg comparison. Owen now utilises the same strategy as the right leg, as there is no more double planting and maintains stiffness in the left leg. These improvements are primarily due to the immediate effects of the post-tectonic potentiation. However, meaningful and lasting changes require weeks of consistent training. Some final remarks regarding skills and capacities in speed and agility. Skill deficiencies can occur at any performance level. Skills and capacities are interconnected, meaning coaches must identify both and capacity issues can influence strategy, sometimes making a capacity limitation appear a skill deficiency.